So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, live from the old beer cellar studio, going out on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. And yes, it is 2 nights in a row. If you haven't seen the footage from last night when we had the pleasure of joining a Thin Cats Virtual and Smart Modular, then go have a watch. It was a cracking night and really did sum up what the Donny Chaingang's all about. They invited our riders to come and join them, and we had a select group of riders going and really showing how it's done with some fantastic group riding. People going back, looking after riders, bringing them forward, setting the pace, waiting for the go, and at the go, a ferocious battle with Mr. Doxy on the offensive, climbing out on Cas Pats, and it is a very, very regular occurrence that we get a very tight finish and we have Russ chasing, but it was really, really interesting to see just how close things can be. I will let you see how good it is. If you get on there, make sure you go onto the channel, give it a watch. And a big thank you to Ben Kimball, regular on the Donny Chaingang, and all of the gang who are joining us on those specials where we aim on basically bringing a bit more of the Zwift world to some new riders, some new experiences for some people who are already on Zwift, and of course lots of fun for everybody, as well as a great workout and something to look forward to. One man who was, of course, our ride leader, it is the one and only Russ Downing, and on the good days we are going to find that Russ is got any kind of legs left after yesterday when we had a rather good evening. So let's see whether Russ is in one piece. Evening, Russ.
Evening, mate.
How are the legs feeling now that you've got back on the bike?
Honestly, that just totally threw me out yesterday. Going so hard on a Monday, it's like, hold on. And now I've got to do it again. I might have a day off tomorrow and then go again Thursday. Yeah, but you know what a DCG special it was. You know, Thin Cats and Smart Modular must have had some great feedback there, because it was so controlled, and then it was typical. He was Des wins at the end, and Doxy took it to us, didn't he?
He was starting to stick it to you, wasn't he? And he went really hard on the hill. We've seen him riding strongly all the way through. And with Cas Pats, of course, it ramps up to that final hill, but it's a downhill finish, unlike tonight, where we've got Innsbruck KOM after party. So a uphill mountaintop finish just at the end of what is a relatively flat ride in comparison.
Yeah, we've got the leg snapper in there, and then we tap over the top of that, try and stay regrouped, and then we'll head out to the top of the KOM. And it's a good old climb. You know, it's got some flatter sections in it, but you know, it takes its toll. And I think normally the front guys are just over an hour, I think. So you know, and then anything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes behind that.
Yep. But there's still plenty of time for people to group, and if you do get distanced early, those groups come together. But normally it does hold together too pretty well to that last climb. And of course, we've got some exciting things planned for next week. We're not going to give any spoilers out. If you've been eagle-eyed watching the screens on the run-in and watching our supporters' screens on the screen, as you can see the slideshows going through at the moment with Mallorca Cycling on there, going over to Oakley, you will see a new logo on there, and I've got to say, Russ, I'm really looking forward to working with them on our way in the future, and the routes that we've got planned are going to be entertaining, let's say.
Yeah, it should make for some really good riding, and you know, got a bit of a funny language to the clue, so it should be a good week.
It should indeed. It should. I'm really looking forward to it, and they're going to see how everybody gets on. And it's one of my favourite little routes on the way out. So, Russ, we're going to let you go and get everybody prepped and ready, because at the moment I think they're more talking about ice cream than they are thinking about how fast they need to go from the gate. And looks to me like Rocket Raccoon, Andrew Watson, he lined up nice and early today. So you've got your red beacon already in there, which is nice.
Yeah, he's all ready, and we've got Mr. Ice Cream Man himself. So I think everyone's trying to tap him up for a a raspberry ripple. She is absolutely flying. So I don't know what sprinkles he's putting on the my skins, but I need some of that today. I'm absolutely gassed, mate.
Well, we'll see how you get on today as we head out, and whether you can make it two good finishes out of two. We'll catch up with you soon, Russ. Cheers, mate.
I can't climb, mate, so there's no chance.
So great to catch up with Russ there, who says he can't climb, but we don't believe him, do we? Let's face it, we know he can climb when he goes out and puts his mind to it. But this, of course, is not just any climb. This is the Marks and Spencer climbs, because this is the Innsbruck KOM. It really is a brutal climb. So let's show you the route. And let's first of all dive inside the details of the course. So we have 39 kilometres of course today in total, and that consists of a lead-in of 0.2k. So basically we come out from the pens and take a sharp left-hand turn, and within 200 metres we're underneath the banner for the start of the course, and that's the normal Innsbrucking World's banner. You go underneath that. Now we head out for one lap of what is called the Innsbruck KOM after party. Essentially we do laps of Innsbruckering, and then on the very last time of asking, we head out and climb up the Innsbruck KOM. Now Innsbruck KOM in itself is brutal. It's steep, it's long, it is a tough climb, but some fantastic scenery on there, and it always provides a really, really interesting ride to see who can hold in and who can hold the pace on the way through. So as you look at your map, you can see that we have the clockwise circuit that we repeatedly do until we drop down where our blue rider is just working the way up onto the climb, through the zigzags and around the big long sweeping bends before that sweeping ascent up to the KOM point. Remember, of course, we finish at the KOM banner. There's then 1.3 kilometres downhill to give people a chance to stretch their legs out. Don't just stop at the top, guys. Make sure you get your legs rolled out on the way through. The total altitude gain is 640 metres, and our yellow and our red beacons are in there. Now, just getting news through hot off the presses that Andy Hawes is actually joining us from the back of the Tour of Britain car in a car park, and I'm trying to work out whether that's a Premier Inn or a Travel Lodge car park Andy is stopping at the moment. But at the moment, it certainly looks to me like Andy is going to be riding the Donny Chaingang on a laptop, which is perched on the parcel shelf of the car. Fantastic stuff, Andy. Great to have you with us and doing the business out on the road for the Tour of Britain, and can't wait to see how Andy gets on tonight. Now, will Andy love the hills? Well, let's show you what they look like, courtesy of the wonderful people at Velo Viewer. Now, Ben and all of the gang at Velo Viewer provide us with these graphics. I've got to say a massive thank you to them. Make sure you get a subscription in. It's absolutely critical. And remember, of course, that this climb, it is a pretty brutal. It's 640 metres of climbing in total. Some of that is on the leg snapper. That's the bottom right-hand side of the graphic. So we do laps of the lower section. But you can see, in comparison, just how big the climb of the Innsbruck KOM is, with the steepest section in the middle of the climb, tapering off towards the top, and that means that there's a little bit of a chance to pull people back together again. Now let's see how the riders get on tonight. They're all lined up and ready to go, and with a few seconds to go, you can see just over on your screen, our beacon, that is Raccoon there, lined up and ready to roll. And we're going to be watching him move off from the light. So let's see how the riders are lined. Nice big pack already lined up. 3 seconds to go. You can see those turbo trainers change across as away they go and head out on to the course at the moment. And as you can see, this group looking good as they head out onto one of our favourite worlds on the Donny Chaingang, and that is the world of Innsbruck. So our riders going out, and they're going to take the left-hand turn. Keep your eyes on the screen, and remember, of course, the people who keep us on the road are the guys who are down at the bottom of your screen. So let's head out on to the road. We're in with Raccoon at the moment, and let's go join him live and all of the Chaingang as they head out here on the Donny Chaingang. We're going to try and jump in with Andy Hawes because Andy is, whilst we've got some connection and he is actually riding, we'll try and get hold of him. Easier said than done, but it may be that we have to jump into Ross first. It's soon going to be, we're soon going to find out who we're going to be able to go in with. So let's jump in with Paul Mallin. So Paul, one of our regular Zwifters, and should be able to jump in with Paul at the moment. So just riding in with Paul, who is in the pack, and let's see how our riders get on as we head out live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne, for all the action from the Donny Chaingang. So Paul looking good at the moment, this group looking well and truly all together as they head out here. This is what we want to see in the Chaingang. Pretty much an intact group, and the bunch quickly starting to form. Let's flip up some of the map displays, and let's keep a check on all those riders. Looks like everybody out of the pens and in riding with the bunch today, and a nice select group, which means it should be pretty straightforward for our riders to keep it all together. Remember, it's Rocket Raccoon and Andrew Watson doing the business as our red beacon. And looks like everybody just rolling around. Let's jump in with Andy Hawes. We said we would do. The man so dedicated to the Donny Chaingang. He'll take the bike and the kit to be able to go on the Chaingang out when he's racing the Tour of Britain. I think he's been on the Women's Tour of Britain at the moment. So Andy looking like he's in nice and now. So let's take a little bit of a check. Looks like one or two key means, as I say, goes on the front, just stretching their legs a little bit further back. The riders are just rolling around nicely with Russ. We're just going to work our way through. If you've not watched before, don't forget, of course, this is Zwift, so this is the virtual world. It is a faithful replication of the worlds that you see if you were to go ride this route in real life. One or two riders just joining the Chaingang link. We're just in with Caroline Mansfield, and Caroline, of course, the head honcho at Gritty, one of our key supporters here on the Donny Chaingang, and some great giveaways as well as discounts from the team at Gritty. And at the moment, the gangs are out and riding the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, with a 15% discount from the guys at Gritty. So looking good at the moment, and the riders moving quite nicely as they head out from the start here off up the course. You can see the hills in the distance. As you can see, there are lots of pedals heading across towards Tom, the youngster who has been looked after by lots of our riders. Looks like Goddard just out of the back at the moment, just making his way in. One of our regulars up at the front of affairs, but looks to me like Goddard just joining the party slightly late there. 2.2k on his clock, or 2.3 for Rocket. Looks like Neil has been dropped out. Neil from the Crosscast. Neil, I'd leave and rejoin if I were you. I think you're in danger of being well and truly distanced here. It's going to take a big effort to get back on. Not impossible as the time gaps come down, but if you can do that, let's rock it now. So there were tons and tons of offers with shoes and with pedals to Tom. Tom Lindley, of course, one of our super fast riders who's riding the Chaingang, just starting out in his cycling career. So like all of us at the moment, still gathering together the kit to make it happen. Of course, because he's at school, everybody wanted to help him out with equipment on the ride. So great to see that he has had so many people trying to help him out. Now it just looks like Rocket just getting himself back into the group. Neil, if you're listening, I'm sure you and Caroline are at the head HQ of the Crosscast and Gritty. Then if I were you, mate, I would be dropping back. Get yourself a drop out and rejoin, because you need to get yourself back in there. Looks like Neil's on a big sprint here to try and get himself in. You can see the group. That's going to be so tantalising. So Crosscast Neil, my co-host on the Crosscast podcast, is at the back here pushing to get into the group. You can see the group, and this is an enormous effort from Neil here as we go up this draggy bridge here. And it looks like Neil on clearly is absolutely pinging as he makes his way into that group. So the group moving out and heading up across the tops of the flyover. They'll soon be heading back down into town once again, with the Alps in the distance. Home, of course, of the next round of the Mountain Bike World Cup over at Leogang, not too far away from Innsbruck, and certainly going to be interesting to watch. If you haven't watched the Red Bull coverage from the weekend, make sure you do it. It is absolutely brilliant. There's some great rides by lots and lots of riders, and I won't give any spoilers in case you don't know the result, but very entertaining racing indeed, from the XCC to the XCO, and a bit of history being made on the way through. Now, this group looking like it is just picking up its pace a little bit here. One or two gaps starting to open here. So with this compact group, I think people taking advantage to push the pace a little bit higher. Remember, of course, with less than 100 riders on the screen, it means that the gang will be able to see each other and to be able to see all of the chain gang as they head in and around. Now, our drone able to fly through buildings, something you couldn't do in real life, but as we look down on the gang coming in and streaming through, it looks to me like that pace is pretty hot at the moment, and one or two people just taking a little drop off the pack to jump into the back of the group. But as you can see, just keeping an eye on our riders. Now, who is the rider just at the back? It is going to be Mr. Dobson, who is just dropped off the back there just to get the pace back up again, and Russ just jumping back off the pace. Is going to be jumping back in again pretty quickly, I'm sure. So just keeping an eye across all of this field. Looks like the group working well together at the moment, and let's see how they get on as they go on to the cobbles. Russ at the moment, the rider who's off the back, but the gang behaving itself, not taking advantage of the fact that the bear at the moment seems to have become temporarily detached from the group, but looks like a few people just dropping back to give him a hand as we come in and across the cobbles. This is the prelude to the slight rise. I say a slight rise. It's known as the leg snapper climb. It is a little bit brutal for our riders. They go up and on to the climb, but as you can see here, the regulars all in and around. Russ looks like Paul Whitelaw glued to the wheels of Russ, along with Thorpe there, and at the moment looks like almost everybody sitting in with that group. I suspect that some of our riders who were out and riding yesterday, so it is going to be Osman at the moment, who is just at the back of this group, and Osman was out riding yesterday with us on the Thinkats Chaingang when Thinkats hosted the Donny Chaingang. We did a Donny Chaingang special for them, all part of our efforts to get Zwift and Zwift experiences to some different riders, to maybe people who haven't considered riding a chaingang or an event before. So the pack are riding well all together at the moment. That main group down there looks like one or two riders forgetting what the rear view mirror is, but I'm sure they will soon be back. The pace and the pressure being put on the pedals by the group are keeping it pretty much all together. We just jump in with Raccoon at the back. So Rocket, this is Watson sitting in here and riding nice and strongly. He's got Dobson for company. Looks like Paul Whitelaw just in the gang there. The fat cyclist, a man who loves hills, living on the top of Box Hill. You can see he's playing to his weaknesses rather than his strength here, because he's got the Melensteins and the Specialised on. So Mason, who's riding that red and black there, that's the lightest setup you can get in the game. just keeping the pressure on those pedals, because of course Zwift takes into account your height, your weight, as well as the equipment when it works out how much effort you need to put in. Russ, of course, running in that very familiar Downing Cycling kit at the moment, and looks like he's doing a bit of a Beckham there with a bit of a man bun going on. Fashion faux pas from Downing, the great kit matched by the dodgiest hairstyle known to man. So on his way up the hill, Russ currently in the green and black at the moment, as he makes his way up. That Pinarello bike underneath him moving nice and smoothly in at the moment. Pretty much the group clustered around Russ. One or two gaps starting to open. Remember, as we come over these climbs, what you find is there's a big kick as we come over, so watch the gaps open up. As soon as the riders drop down, you can see the gaps are opening between the riders, and that is quite simply the distance as they go over the top of the climb, dropping down the far side. The gaps open, and it then takes a little bit of work by the gang at the back to close it down. Whitelaw and Goddard here clearly helping the riders in the back of the group. Goddard and Whitelaw regulars in here. Looks like Murphy in the group as well. Mason in this group. Dobson, Thorpe in here. And I think this is really going to be the Yellow Beacon group. So it looks like at least one of the riders just easy enough just to let them come in. Looks like Atkinson now going to be kicking in. Yep, 9 watts per kilo from Atkinson. Just going to push on. It's all about getting that pacing right. And you can just see at the moment, just collecting riders as they've backed off the pace. Good to see Abby Scales is back with us once again. Martin Bolt is in with us. Anderson is back as well, just jumping in with Abby. So Abby, one of our regular riders, improving week on week, and definitely going to be interesting as he moves up in pace. Russ taking the pace up to 2.5. You can see Scales at the moment having to push harder than that, because behind and on a downhill, our lighter riders like Scales have to work harder. So a bigger rider and somebody like Gareth Mason, who's nearer that 100 kilo mark, and take it easy on the downhills, but has to work on the uphills. Riders like Harley Hobbs here, one of our lighter riders, then has to work much harder on the flatter and the downhill just to stay with the group. Now just in with Saysel here at the moment, and looks like Raccoon going to get a good workout here today, because he's going back and looking after all these riders, and that's what we want to see on the Chaingang. The group's coming back together again. Looks like the front of the group just a little bit distant at the moment. So Mr. Killingsworth clearly full of beans yet again, somebody who definitely should know better. Mike clearly feeling the benefits of all that training at the moment, not realising quite how strong he is. So Hobbs, Mansfield and Scales are going in and through there, and Harley Hobbs coming from the back of the pack, joining the group, able to take away the fastest time there, 24:68 in that 300 meter section into that gantry, and that's because Harley was chasing back into the group at the time. So good work being done here by Saysel, and looks like at the moment Brown just joining the gang at the back here, and Raccoon again going back and doing lots of work, and I think Andrew's going to find this really is going to be a tough old ride today, because of course the course at Innsbruck Ring, which is the lower circuit, we do use on the Tuesday quite regularly just to test riders out, because it is quite hilly in its own right. However, those well over 600 meters of ascent are going to take its toll. Now just keeping an eye on the riders, they make their way back in towards the group. You can see that pillar of light from Russ up in the sky. The yellow beacon pillar comes in when you are just starting to lose sight of the chevron itself. And that pillar visible from some kilometres away now. The chevron just started to come in sight as they close that gap down, and looks like Rocket doing another amazing job here. He's taking to being red beacon like duck to water at the moment, and nicely pacing these riders back in time and time again. Look at that nice little pickup, drops back, make sure that the rider's got the wheel, pushes on to drag them forwards, and that's going to be our rider back in with the group there, and that is some riding. Great to see as we come up towards the end of lap number 1. Our riders just making the way in, and looks to me like pretty much all together again, which is what we want to see as these riders head back through and past the starters. This big pack with the Alps in the background are moving onwards in a nice formation here on the Donny Chaingang. So members of the DCG gang, you should all have got an email today and an email on the weekend, or just after the weekend, with details of today's rise and Thursday's ride as well. A heads up on the course, on details of where it's going to go, where the hills are, what bikes to ride, details and links to Swift Insider, to Velo Viewer, to the YouTube of when we were here last. So lots of details. Now that's going to change slightly for next week, because next week we are going to a new version of a course we've used before for the Tuesday. It's going to be a very entertaining one. I'm really looking forward to that, and it's something we've thought about doing for a little while now, and we've teamed up with our fantastic giveaway supporters, and they are going to be helping us out. We're going to be pulling a giveaway for members of the DCG gang, and that giveaway is going to draw on Tuesday and on Thursday. So the random number generator will be back before the start of the ride, and we will be pulling 2 riders' numbers. So all the members of the DCG gang get a number. Each of those riders getting the number then has a chance, an equal chance of being pulled out from the draw. It will be a 1 rider, 1 prize. So if you get pulled out on the Tuesday, you won't be eligible for the Thursday. If you pulled out first on the day, you won't be eligible for the rest of that day either. And that means that we will have 4 winners from the DCG gang members, able to enjoy themselves with the great help of our supporters who are joining us. And Russ and I are very jealous that we can't actually be in this draw. It has to be said, because one of our favourites. So members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the guys who keep the show quite literally on the road and the wheels turning in the virtual world of Swift, then guys, a massive thank you. And to say thank you, I've got a great prize drawings of specials next week to celebrate the end of the Giro. So all looking very civilized out there at the moment, and pretty much everybody all together. Nobody doing anything silly. Anybody who's just pushing on the pedals a little is soon back in the fold. Just going to have a little bit of a check. Some of our riders in there. Looks like pretty much everybody holding the pace nicely at the moment, and looks like Neil from the Crosscast has made it back in pretty comfortably at the moment. Looks like that heart rate not too silly at the moment. Looks like Shelley Charles, Andy Hawes rolling around in the right kind of positions. Looks like Pete Howis in here again. Good to see Pete back in with us. Let's have a little look at Pete's stats here. So Pete's stats at the moment, 200 down to 100 watts, really is keeping it super smooth at the moment, and 176 beats per minute as Ted does an I'm Spartacus moment. Fortunately not too far off the front. You're not getting it quite right there. You should be oblivious to everybody then claim that you're abducted by aliens, mate. So here we go, just keeping an eye on the group here. Pete Howis looking pretty good in here, 172 beats per minute. That's relatively high for a man of your age, mate. I'm allowed to say that because you're nearly as old as me, not quite, mate. So just keeping an eye. Rich Horrell, Russ in there. Russ's heart rate 94. You can compare the two riders there. Russ, though, doesn't go that high. If you see 170 odd from Russ, you know Russ is definitely in trouble. Red Beacon just dropping a little bit further back off of this group, and looks like he's got Malin behind to go chase to. Now it looks like Flynn joining us late in the circuit, 6 minutes down. Mr. Flynn, if you're watching live, I would suggest jump out, try jumping back in again. You've just about got another 10 minutes to do so, and try and jump back in to the pack. We will see if he's able to do that and jump in with the main group. Now, as you can see here, Raccoon going back once again. This is absolutely superb here, as you can see. It is super quick going back. Pete Howard saying his heart rate isn't that high. I've got news for you, mate. It is according to the screens now. Let's see what happens to Rockets, to Andy's heart rate as they push up. So Raccoon going back, and he's got Malin, the rider here. Just let's get a view from Malin's point of view. This is exactly where you would expect to see your beacon at the back working for these riders, and Raccoon's going to get a real hard workout. If you ever want a really hard workout, join us on the Chaingang, become the one of our volunteers, and every one of our riders in the Red Beacon role are volunteers. They asked to do this job, and it is fantastic stuff. So it looks like Malin had a drop out there, bad news that is, and but putting in a great performance here. 153 beats per minute at the moment from Malin, 188 watts, and the two of them are working really well here. They're pulling that gap down. It's now down at 13 seconds to Taylor, who is sitting at the back of that pack. The pack just starting to string out a little as it comes down into town. So you can see the group are together trying to push on. It may well need a little bit of a backing off of pace on the front at the moment, but it's not looking too silly. These two riders have got a little bit of work to do to try and get in to that yellow beacon group, as that time is not coming back. They're not closing it down, not according to the screens, but I think we're going to be able to see the beacon in front. So it's not going to be that far away, but they are going to need a little bit of an easing off of that group as they come across the river, over the cobbles, and on to the main section. Now you can see the arch, the finish arch is just on the right hand side on the map. If we zoom out, you'll just see it coming up on the right hand side of the map. But as we go on to the cobbles, it looks like Atkinson it is who's just dropping back here to give the guys a hand, because there's been a dropout for Malin, who's riding really strongly there. Our Red Beacon working his socks off at the moment, and we could do with a bit of ThinkCat's virtual smart modular drop back here from the riders. They need a team to go back. We saw team after team going back yesterday on the Chaingang. So you see that gap just starting to come down a little bit here. It's now at 10 seconds between the main pack, and looks like Richardson, oh look at this, Richardson's dropped right off the pace here. He's going back to help. This is what we want to see. So here we go, fantastic stuff here. Look at this, it is coming. The team are absolutely hammering on here, and you can see Atkinson's gone back. It looks like Richardson's going back. They're all going to start kicking as he comes past. So what they're doing, they're letting the riders come past. They know they're the last man. They put in a big kick to come back through, and they'll sweep into a bunch together back in towards the group here. We are keeping our eyes on Atkinson, who's pulled them back. Looks like Raccoon's gone back, Rourke's gone back, Whitelaw's gone back. Pretty much everybody is pulling it back. This is fantastic stuff, and that is the way to work. If you're a strong rider, people like Whitelaw, Goddard in there doing the business, just dropping to the back and then straight back up towards the yellow beacon. Just seeing the man in orange next to him now. This is Whitelaw. Now Whitelaw just taking a quick swig of ice cream on the way through. Everybody else has OTE in the bottles. This man runs on ice cream. Paul Whitelaw, our villain of the piece some days, because he is the man to beat. He's got the target on his back. It's a bit like having the world champs jersey, having those goggles on. Is Whitelaw going to be able to take it out now? I was speaking to Paul earlier on this week, and we were having a bit of a chat about the Chaingang and lots of different things. And it was really good to have a chat with him. And he was saying that it's really starting to get busy. For those of you who don't know, Paul Whitelaw has the best ice cream cart in the entire Cumbrian district, in fact in the entire Lake District, and that's no mean feat because there's some neat carts there. But Paul Whitelaw has the best ice cream, and if you're in Ambleside, seek him out. Don't go for a ride with him because he'll probably rip your legs off. However, definitely go in, go say hi, tell you from DCG, and make sure you grab yourselves an ice cream on the way through Ambleside. But Paul is now in his busy season. It's really starting to ramp up, and hopefully if he's been on his feet all day, we might all have a chance, us mere humans who don't run on ice cream all the time and just OTE drinks and Grand Tour coffee, might have a chance of keeping him under wraps and keeping him a little bit quieter up at the front. We'll see what happens as we head out and around. Now 14.5k covered, and Rocket Addy Watson there just dropped back with Whitelaw as they go off and down on the descent. So just seeing Simon run it there, just stopped at the side of the road, not like Simon to be out of action here. I suspect that is a power dropout or a Wi-Fi dropout. No, he's got a dash. Well, Mr. Run It, we'll see you on Thursday. Simon, of course, joining us for the gang. He also goes by Sean, one of his many aliases, as well as a really nice guy who has been involved in the Chaingang Instagram Supremo, as well as we drop in with Kieran Brown now. Kieran Brown, one of our fast men when it comes to the uphill and clearly meaning business. He's gone for a lighter weight bike at the moment, and the gang looks like it is doing okay. Simon, wish your wife happy birthday. Tell her that we're sorry we've got the Chaingang on the same day. So good to see Simon joining us, even if it is for a short one. And looks like Kieran just pushing his way on. We know Kieran's likely to make contact pretty easily here, unless he's had a really hard day, because he's one of our really quick riders. And you can just see a big kick kind of come out of Kieran, just dropping off the back rather than going off the front for an effort. So big sprint coming here from Kieran Brown. Let's see whether he is going to put in a quick time. Is it going to be a personal best? Kieran Brown going through there and definitely gets a personal best. We'll drop a ride on Kieran for his efforts there. Down it goes, and good to see putting in a really quick time there, which is what we would expect from Kieran, just going from the back of the pack into the front of the pack. Now this is our group heading in around the back here. Looks like Thorpe just getting a little bit of a drop out there, so looks like it's Brown at the moment who's on the back of the group here, and Rocket doing a great job as a red beacon, continually dropping back. And then it's going to be a Rourke just in front here, Rourke in the yellow. Got Kieran Brown around him. We've got Taylor from Bolsover and District. Taylor's going to be in that black and kit with the yellow side stripes. And then looks like Shelley Charles in here. Looks like Atkinson holding around Russ. Seeing Caroline Mansfield in there. Mr. Osman in as well. Ted Langley's in here. So it looks like Hayward just heading off for the bus. It looks like he's going to be the man who is going to be the first into the bus. So it looks like he's heading out the back of the group, or certainly hanging around the back of the group. Now we know Hayward is one of our quick riders, but not afraid to be smart and ride in with the back of the bunch rather than the front of the group. Now, in with Murphy in the front group. Sutcliffe's in here from out of the saddle. Again, sitting in the pack, looking pretty smooth here, 115 beats per minute. In with Barry Kipling, one of the youngest riders not. Barry, our oldest rider in the bunch, as far as we know, and Barry looking super smooth here, 97 revs per minute, 180 watts, and that's a man who knows how to ride. And great to see him riding so strongly. A very, very handy man on and off road, and certainly looking like he's got this pretty much under control. Looks like Dick Samuel in the group, and Dick has been a rider who's been with us quite a long time now, really. He's on the ride, putting in a really strong ride yesterday, back again for more today. So Samuel at the moment in with this pack, and looks to me like we're just starting to see the detachment of one rider off the back now. Noel from Matt Noel at the back here, 7.1 watts per kilo, quickly pushing back onto the group. I don't think it's anything for Rocket to worry about. I think Rocket's getting a little bit tired. It could be, let's see who could tire Rocket out, but Noel at the moment pushing back in here. He's the rider who was just distanced there, and clearly just taking a little bit of a break. He goes in to the back of that pack here in Innsbruck for the Donny Chaingang. Well, let's try and jump in with our beacon. I think Russ clearly got this pretty much under control here, and just seen West been getting a drop out, I suspect. No, kicking back in again. That's how it looks like a dropped foam, we can usually tell. So let's see if we can get across to Russ out on the chain gang. Russ, how are you doing?
Hey mate, I'm alright, mate, and you?
I'm probably doing better than you, because although I was on my feet, I wasn't having to pedal yesterday evening. How are the legs feeling? Have they actually warmed up any?
Yeah, they just woke up a little bit. So they're coming round, but I'm sure they'll fade again on that last climb, because horrible. I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
So I've got to ask, because I'm not the only one commenting, what's with the man bun? Is your hair really that long in real life that you need to tie it up like that?
It's ready for a cut, and I picked one of the iPhones. I didn't realise it had a man bun, and I can't be asked to change it, mate.
Well, it's certainly a look. It's a strong look, as my teenage daughter would say. Quickly followed with, "Don't you dare come out in public with me looking like that." But
I can pull it off, mate.
I'm sure you can. At the moment, it's just extra aerodynamic drag, which everybody else I think is going to be glad of. Just see one or two riders getting a few take dropouts, but the group riding really well. It was lovely to see that. The people going back there when Malin had a dropout, lots of people going back to help out and pull forward, not just the Red Beacon, but the group working together.
Yeah, it was good. It was crucial time as well. You know, it's not easy to drop out of the back when you realise the hardest bit of the lap is coming. So, fair cop for everyone there. You know, it was good.
Yeah, so just being told it's another name for it, which is true. It's a top knot. I don't know that technically it is a top knot, because it's not technically right on the top. It's more of a man bun, that I think. A top knot should be higher up.
Yeah, I've had a top knot before in the time when we were on tour for a while. I think we were in a career or something. I was just trying to blend in or something like that.
I don't need the image of you in a kimono and in my head. Just talk about something else quick. So we just, as we head out towards the hills, how are you going to play this for us? Because we've talked about when the go goes is something that's flexible. It depends on feel, and we've got what is a really fast moving pack today. Everybody's riding along. We're actually motoring today, but we're not dropping people off the back, so the pace can hold at this. Does that change how you're going to play the go? Because at the moment, not too many people having a hard time at the back. Only just seeing one or two power-ups from the group at the back now, and I think that's Martin Bolt with one at the moment.
I thought you were going to call it, mate.
Not a chance. I'm not taking the flak for that. That's for sure.
I'm sure we'll pull something out of the hat.
I get blamed for all the nasty routes that we keep on dreaming up. Never mind saying go. That's not happening. Definitely not. That's not. You can take that one. That's for sure. Now, interesting to see. There's a few more power-ups going in. Where would you be saving them for? Would you be keeping them for the leg snapper, or is it a case of needs must at the moment?
I think I'll be saving them all for the hill just to get up the thing.
Yeah. Wait till you get the feather and then hold on to it and don't let it go, even if you've got another couple of laps underneath the gantry to go at.
Yeah, just keep hitting the space bar or whatever you're hitting the button on.
Definitely, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I think I would be. So just keeping an eye on the group. Looks good at the moment. We're going to let you get back to it, Russ, and have a think about where that go is going to go. Because at the moment we're on 22 kilometres almost now. So fairly travelling.
Yeah, we got through the finish one more time, and then we're onto the hill.
Well, let's see where how mean you're feeling, or stroke how much of a workout these guys want, because at the moment you're not dropping anybody. It isn't happening. I think the red beacon just being detached now.
I'm sure I'll get a few text messages in a minute. Come on, go, we want to go along, we want to go still. It's like, come on guys, leave me alone.
Well, we're just starting to see the first group starting to detach, I think, here, because it's a fair-sized group who are sat in here. We've got Martin Bolt, Taylor, we've got Hayward, Brown in this group. You can just see this pack at the back here, just starting to fight out to stay with the group. And Martin Bolt, absolutely phenomenal performance for him. 22k in here out of 39. He's riding strongly.
Mate, you know, sort of a year ago, like I said, we joked about he'd still be in the car park when he's putting his shoes on. But he's going so good now. But we're just saying about where we're gonna do with go. My heart rate's gone up to over 100 again since talking to you. So I always like to thank you for waking me up, Matt.
Well, it's just about 100. We have to keep giving you a prod every now and then. If nobody else is poking the bear, then we might do it on commentary. We'll let you dive back in and focus on how everybody's riding, and we are going to see just where that happens. Cheers, Russ. Good luck.
106, mate. I'm creeping now.
Well, I know you've not got that far to go. See you in a bit.
See you later.
So great to catch up with Russ there, as the riders at the moment all clustered around the beacon, just starting to see our party bus at the back. Now this is a Prodigy inspired party bus from memory, because I think the bus used on the Facebook page was the Prodigy's tour bus, which is all in black. So who's going to be the fast as he kicks this off? When will Russ strike the match and let everybody, to quote a Porterism, ignite the burners? Well, he's lifting the pace up here to 3 watts per kilo. He's clearly a feeling that the group are pretty comfy here now. The bus is forming, the party bus is here. Raccoon's got drinks on already sorted by the sounds of it. And I'm thinking they're going to be a flaming vodka shot, so I'd imagine if it's a Prodigy bus. But we will see as they come around the corner. Just seeing Martin Bolt coming sweeping into view, so it looks like Martin is going to be the man who that bus is looking to collect. Keith Hayward in, Raccoon in there, Taylor just distanced off the group, but not by much. Looks like Flynn now starting to feel this. Let's see where the riders are. So let's see how that is panning out. It looks like Jim Flynn, Taylor and Brown now are in danger, because remember, as we go over the top of the climb, you can see just how steep this 8% is if you compare the road to the vertical size of the buildings and the trees on Zwift. Now Brown just pushing to get into the group. You can't let the slightest gap go, as you come over the top, and great ride there by Brown to get back into the pack. Now Flynn sat with Taylor, Hayward, Raccoon and Bolt. All these riders distance from the main group, and that is a dangerous thing to happen as you go up and over the top. We are going to see the gaps stretching out, so nicely controlled by the main pack up and over the climb. So as they roll down the far side, Flynn goes over the top, Taylor's up over the top as well, Hayward on the climb coming up towards the very top of the hillside. Now it's Hayward, it looks like Martin Bolt and Rocket Raccoon. This group are going to hopefully pick each other up and regroup as they go off down the far side. So looks like the Red Beacon chasing here with Martin Bolt. They're round the top, so let's see how many groups form. Meanwhile, back with the main pack, it looks like the roller coaster section here that takes us down away from the top of the leg snapper is starting to stretch these riders out a little bit here. You can see Lloyd and Oral here, Malin all pushing out some big numbers, and once again our lighter riders, people like Mansfield and Hobbs, they are our lightweight riders and they benefit from that going up the big climbs, but on the downhills he's absolutely desperate. Really interesting. Emma, our ride leader on the women's rise, and myself, we've before now had both turbos riding the same route, and you can tell the difference in weight. Emma sits sub 60 kilo and I sit above 80 kilos, and that difference in weight is absolutely dramatic when it comes to where you have to push on. And you can see now that has caused this group to form now behind. We've got Jim Flynn and Taylor very close together. We've got Bolt, Hayward and Raccoon as the last riders on the road with our Red Beacon, soon going to be sweeping people up. Then we've got the group which is the Mansfield Hobbs. Looks like it's got Maine in here as well. So Maine sitting in this group just on the front there. Malin not too far away. Then Langmead. Yes, above 80 kilos, mate. I was very, very happy when it was 8. I went sub 82 this week for the first time in I can't remember how long. So it is true, yes. Definitely over 80. Normally it hovers round about 83 kilos my weight. Fat cyclist is above 60 kilos. Yeah, you were not far off doubling that, mate. At the moment I'm a lean mean commentary machine, has to be said. Nothing to do with the fact that I've had a few trips to the dentist and had to not eat for a while. Right, our group chasing here, great group here. Enough about me and how much I weigh, because there's no way I'll be going up the hill with the leading group, that is for sure. So we have Lloyd, Orrell, Garfoot, Kinloch in here, being chased by another big pack of riders here. Hobbs, Malin, Maine, Mansfield, Brown, Langmead just distanced a little bit here. If Langmead can push into this group, that's going to be another big pack. You can just see the yellow beacon just up in front, working well to go down that straight. So this is going to be group 3 on the road just in front. So group 1, our main pack motoring on up in front. So this is group number 1 at the moment. Now group number 2 is the group with Lloyd and gang at the moment. So you can see the yellow beacon group is group 1. This is group number 2 on the road, and Sean Farron hopefully just pushing it into the back of that. So that's group 2. Group 3 is this group here with the main Mansfield Hobbs group. Now behind then looks like Andy Hawes not continuing onwards. Those I think the car journey, the recce legs just starting to take effect. Then Flynn in there, and then Raccoon. So about 6 groups on the road in total. We're going to run our way up into the main pack. Good to see. We said Abby Scales was improving week on week, and Abby in this group now, she's got to fancy her chances here when it goes up the climb, because the lighter weight riders are going to be able to come into their own as they go up that climb. Now Ferret just ticking that pace on the front. Clark in here, Evans, Killingsworth, Morn, Gately, Rourke all in this pack. Thorpe in here, Mr. Howis is in here. Let's have a look at Howis's comedy heart rate. Now Howiss's comedy heart rate is 186. Might go to him on the climb and see whether he manages to get it up to 250, because he's saying that's not his real heart rate. We'll soon find out. Russ's heart rate, this is for real, 112 beats per minute, so plenty left for Russ. And you can just see the second group are not all that far behind. They are working hard to keep this leading group in eyesight to be able to see them as they come in and through. And at the moment, this group working well together. So apparently that heart rate is correct now. We'll soon find out next time we get a chance to have a little look. Now, in with Vin Donahue, and quick message from Vin to say thank you to everybody who's been helping out our youngster. And Vin, of course, based not all that far from Sherwood Pines, so the pleasure of riding with him and with young Mr. Lindley out on the mountain bikes, and looking forward to catching up with them again. And massive thank you to everybody who's been looking after our riders, and I'm planning on catching up with Vin and hopefully having a chat with him. You never know, might be sometime fairly shortly, because Vin, of course, one of the nice guys of the chain gang, and of course helping plenty of people out on the way round. We'll see if Vin's on form tonight. Will he be up with that leading group as they go up onto the climb? We'll soon see. Right, left, right, zigzag turns, then the roundabout. We're going to go straight on this time with 28.4k. We're soon going to be heading up on to the big climb. It's a long drag up to the left that takes us on to the climb proper, and just seen Vin Donahue up on the front in that Downing Cycling kit. So Vin, one of the regulars on the Chaingang, riding the Swift Concept Z1 bike, known by everybody as the Tron bike, and for good reason, and matching green to match the green on the kit as well. It's good to see Billy Nomex is back in with us. He's in the gang. Dr. D is in. Dr. D had to go a little bit short yesterday, but another of the riders who was helping out yesterday. Great to see the Doctor back in the house. So Russ now going to be leading these riders briefly in towards the roundabout. I was going to say over the roundabout, but it's into the roundabout at the moment. So just as we head up onto the drag that you're going to see coming up in front of our riders, it's time for me to get some Grand Tour coffee down my neck. This is some double day blend today. And the go goes. Russ waiting until I was taking a sip of the coffee, then it's back over the computer screens. So here we go with the studio all fired up and ready for this, because we knew it was going to happen soon. And you just knew that it was going to be at a moment which is going to make life difficult for people. And you can just see Russ now kicking on here. Now we've got one rider, Varty, trying to keep the pressure on those pedals and keep it strung out. However, it's going to be tough stuff to contain the man in orange. This is a Whitelaw chasing hard at the moment. He's not gone clear on the front. We've often seen an attack take him clear, but looks like Kieran Brown quickly onto the heels of Varty at the moment. We're just riding in with Ross, but after the last few days, I'm not sure that's a wise move. Good to see Kooslugs is on form, the Stellaton rider. Now he's got a bike that is more suited to the flatlands of the climb. Has he got the pace up here? We're soon going to find out, because those leading riders are stretching their legs on the front. So let's take a little bit of a run right up to the very front here. So looks like Kieran Brown and Varty are our two leading riders at the moment. Just riding in with Brown, who goes on to the front here. Varty kicking to get back into the wheel. So Brown from Sherwood Pines Cycles leading this at the moment. Right on his heels in the orange is Varty, riding in with Varty now. And you can just see 400 watts on the kick there to get onto the wheel. So Varty clearly wanting to keep these two on the attack. And at the moment, the chasing is being done by Fisher. And at the moment, nowhere to be seen is the man who is powered by the sprinkles on his ice cream. Whitelaw at the moment keeping his powder dry, or maybe keeping his waffle cones dry, should we say, because at the moment nobody looks like they're giving him too much of a hand to pull these riders in. At the moment, Whitelaw just being distanced. Maybe he is human after all. Let's see what happens as they go. Remember, of course, we've got lots of riders in groups all the way behind this, and it's going to be really interesting to see who can keep that pace on. Now, Atkinson, another of the riders who was out working to bring riders in early doors. Atkinson is on the front of this train, just starting to stretch out the chasing riders. So if we take a little bit of a look back, you can just see starting to get scattered across the road. Murphy's on a good ride here, pushing on. Looks like Evans in the group here as well. Thorpe, though, starting to respond to those little bits of a move being put in by the Pines rider Brown, and along with Varty. So the two riders are together, and Varty at the moment is in front, but Brown looks like he's got the gap now. And Brown really is kicking on here. Varty has gone back into the boat. She's gone backwards at a rate of knots here, and it's now Kieran Brown on the climb. Now we know when Kieran wants to work out, because he'll put on the mountain bike and ride with the group. When he means business, generally picks the lighter bikes, and at the moment it looks to me like those are Mellenstein lightweights. On the bike they are indeed, and they are the lightest wheels in the game. So those are wheels you can only get. You win them basically as you go up the climb of the Alpe de Zwift, a replica of the Alpe d'Huez in Watopia. If you climb that, there is a random wheel at the top. There is the spinning wheel, and that spinning wheel will click along until it lands on a prize. 9 times out of 10 you're going to get yourself a set of gloves if you're lucky, occasionally a helmet. Well, guess what? If you get to do it enough times, eventually it lands on a set of the lightweight wheels. The average is about 13. People have been right up the way up the Alp 26 times and not won the wheels. But Kieran Brown clearly has done enough to get those at the moment, holding just sub 7 watts per kilo now behind. Nobody's pulling this back fast enough at the moment. You can just see Evans and Whitelaw at the moment with Thorpe on the wheels. Murphy's putting in a big kick behind, just trying to get onto the wheels here of Russ Downing. So Murphy riding well behind Gareth Mason, belying the fact that he weighs in at 3 figures in terms of kilos. I'll let him tell you how many of those 3 figures are, but it's definitely more than 60, believe me. So Murphy onto the heels of Downing. Downing out of the saddle here, working to pull them forward some more. You can see that the chase is not all that concerted at the moment. It's not coordinated in any way, shape or form. At the moment it is going to be Whitelaw leading that chase out. He's up to 5.7 watts per kilo. He's clearly finding his feet here, just starting to pick the pace up. Evans is behind here, and this is the string of 3 riders battling it out at the moment for 3rd place. So thanks for the wave, as Evans got time to wave. And again, lightweight wheels, Mellenstein lightweights on there, and nice shoes too. Quick wave from Mr. Thorpe as well. Let's have a quick look, and Thorpe riding strongly again. Always one of our fast riders, one of the riders who's in the hunt for a win, but will we see him be able to take it today? The gap is going out and out at the moment. It's not going the right direction at the moment. If Kieran Brown was heading south, the rest are heading north pretty much, because these two are separated by 37 seconds, 38 seconds now from Brown to Thorpe, sandwiched in between It is Whitelaw who's still closer to the chasers behind than he is to our leader. And our leader at the moment, Kieran Brown, looking at superb here. 186 beats per minute. We know Kieran is a national standard rider on and off a road, a regular competitor on the national series. And of course, we're coming in towards time when the national mountain bike series is going to kick in, and won't be surprised to see Kieran in action there. Definitely one of our fast riders, and there is a reason why he's signed up by Sherwood Pine Cycles, that is for sure. 41 seconds now, the gap back to second place Paul Whitelaw, and Whitelaw is having done to him as he's done to others at the moment, because the rider on the front is riding it off. Now has Paul got anything left to chase here? He was looking strong, going back and helping riders, but at the moment I don't think he's got an answer to Kieran, who is at 41 seconds. Then it's going to be Thorpe who's going to be in there. So it looks like Thorpe. Then it's going to be Atkinson, followed by Evans and Murphy and Downing in that group as well. Then it's going to be Gareth at Mason. So these four, and you can see they're only 4 seconds behind Whitelaw. This is going to be a real fight here into the finish behind these riders. So Thorpe, Whitelaw, Murphy, Atkinson, Evans and Downing are going to be fighting this out, and not all that far behind if it comes to a sprint. Don't discount this man. We know he can put the power down. We know he's got some serious wattage in there. Can he use it? He's flying past Paul Whitelaw at the moment, and it looks like the wheels fallen off Paul's wagon at the moment. His ice cream cart has got a buckled rim by the look of it, because he's going backwards at the moment, and this is a first. There's going to be a number of people who are going to maybe take heart from this in the future, and crosscast Neil from Gritty coming up along the side there. He's got Saysel on his wheel here, and all these riders are taking advantage of the fact that clearly that long day in the sunshine just starting to take its effect on Whitelaw. Fisher's going to be the next rider who's going to see Whitelaw here. I want to be riding, man. This is the day that I need to ride. I've got a chance of beating Paul. Add it to my scouts. Add it to the days that you remember. A bit like when I rolled Russ the one time only ever on a line when he gave up too early, and I rolled him on the line in Richmond, I think it was, on Swift. Never going to happen in real life. So Kieran Brown on the climb. Then it's Thorpe here who's pushing on. This is the battle for second place at the moment. Kieran Brown up the road. This is your leader coming up to the easing of the gradient. It goes through Tony. It'll ease off, and then it kicks again in towards that finish, then eases again. Well, at the moment he's got 44 seconds on Thorpe. Thorpe though has the gap on Atkinson. If we spin our camera around, look at this. It looks to me like Thorpe has got the gap here. 1 second to Atkinson, 3 seconds to Downing, 5 to Murphy, 9 to Evans. They're fracturing apart on that steeper section. Remember, it's going to kick in once again. It's going to go back up to 8%, and it'll level back out again. These constant changes of gradient make it much harder. It's very hard to sit in one rhythm and continue to pedal onwards, but at the moment Thorpe here has company. Atkinson's on his wheels, and they are going to be fighting this out to the top. I think Atkinson goes past now. So it's Atkinson who goes past, and Thorpe now having to kick it up to 7.7 watts. He wants a little bit of shelter. Is this going to be a counter attack? He's right on the side there, a little bit too hard to sit in the wheels. It gets on the wheels of Atkinson. So at the moment it's Kieran Brown in 1, it's Atkinson in 2, Thorpe in 3, Downing in 4, Murphy in 5, Evans in 6, it's Mason the fat cyclist in 7, in 8 from Gritty, Crosscast Neil, and in 9 it is Saysel with 10th place at the moment. Fisher, 11th is Taylor, 12th Varty, 13th is Ferret. It's going to be 14th for Derby, 15th for Richardson, 16th for Kooslook, 17th for Rourke, 18th for Goddard, 19th for Gately, and Whitelaw at the moment rounding out the top 20 with Billy No Mates closing in on his heels at speed. But right up at the front, it looks to me like the gaps continue to open with 50 odd seconds back. But Atkinson now only at 39 seconds on Kieran Brown. So Kieran on this steeper section just can see the yellow beacon behind if he's using his rear facing camera. The view that you have now can be dialed up by Kieran as he heads up this hillside, but our leader at the moment has the gap on the rest, but they're coming back together again behind. This is the chasing group, and if we drop the screens out, you can just see on the slopes behind Atkinson, then Thorpe, then Downing. At the moment, those are the three riders together. Meanwhile, Murphy closing in as well, and maybe Russ can sense he's got a chance even on this big hillside. He says he's not a climber. We don't believe him, as we can see at the moment. These are the three chasers all together behind Kieran Brown, but it is Brown with the gap at the moment, and he's just about to hit the minute mark on that gap as he heads up the road. So it's Brown 1 minute up the road. The mountain bike competitor Sherwood Pines on the mountain bike on the turbo. In fact, it's all about how much power he's got. The smart turbo train up measuring the power as he kicks down on those cranks, but he's got 4 chasers behind, and these 4 riders are the riders who have got the nearest chance, the only chance really, of closing him down, but the gap going out again behind that. So it's Thorpe, Downing, Murphy, Evans, then it is going to be Mason, Neil Mansfield, Neil from the Crosscast, then Jeff Saysell, Jamie Fisher, Rob Taylor, Rob Vardy, going to be Ferrick, Chris Darby, Keith Richardson, Dominic Rourke, all chasing behind, but they're all chasing our solo leader Kieran Brown, the man at the front of affairs at the moment, and he's keeping out a really smooth tempo here. Let's pull up some stats for Kieran. Currently sitting at 300 plus watts on the way up here, 186, 187 beats per minute, 93 res, 94 res per minute as it just fluctuates as he goes up and down the gradients here. 1 minute and 6 seconds, 1 minute 5 seconds to this chasing duo, which is fast becoming a foursome once again, as you can see Murphy just coming round Downing but closing that gap down as the gradient eases. These riders come around that bend, and you can just see the Alps in the distance as they go on this 10% section of climb. Really is nasty as you come up here. If you've got your turbo trainer set to anything like 100%, you're going to be absolutely ripping your legs off here. Lots of our riders will set it at a slightly lower gradient to be able to maintain some cadence. But at the moment, Thorpe leading out this group from Atkinson, who's just about in that same time gap. But it's 2 seconds back now to Murphy. This is Murphy, and behind him you can just see Russ Downing chasing hard here. And Russ currently not inside the top 3, sitting currently in 5th place. So Kieran Brown, our leader, in 1, Thorpe in 2, Atkinson in 3, right on his heels. 4 is Murphy, 5 is Downing, 6 is Evans, 7 is going to be Mason, 8 is going to be Neil Mansfield from the Crosscast, 9 is Saysell, 10 is Taylor, but Saysell is coming up on Mansfield here. These 2 riders could help each other up this climb, but it's steep here. It's on that section, and you can see in front. So it's Mansfield in the black, it's Mason in the red and black, the fat cyclist in the blue is Evans. Then a gap up the road as Downing is on the heels of Murphy, and he's going to come alongside him here. He's not letting that pace drop on this 10% section. The gradient kicks in yet again, and you can see these riders really are having to work hard as they come up this slope here. Downing out the saddle, 68 revs per minute, 151 beats per minute. Still a little bit left in the tank for Russ yet. Murphy in front, 182 beats per minute for Murphy, and just sub 300 watts. Meanwhile, Kieran Brown are coming up towards the end of the steep sections very shortly. We're going to come up through this next village on the ascent up the climb, and then we will see it starting to level up. It looks like Murphy said he's done. Come on, mate, time to dig in here. He's been riding so strongly. Is he going to maintain that top 5? He can't afford to drop those wheels too much. It looks like Evans is currently going to be about 38 seconds behind now. If Murphy has gone pop, then he's going to really know about it. It looks like Downing's giving some real encouragement here. He doesn't want to lose his partner in crime here, and Murphy's responding. He's pushing up his pace here, 176 beats per minute. Meanwhile, Thorpe really is pushing on those pedals at the moment. Just seen another 8% climb he's on, and just seen it going into the red, and that's an 8% red. 8% red on the top and 8 watts per kilo are over, and you're going to see the numbers flick from white in to the red on the watts per kilo. Now Atkinson is in danger here, because Atkinson has got Downing and Murphy chasing hard here. Has he got the pace to hold them off? You can just see them in the distance in the yellow. So Atkinson 169, it's 7 seconds back to Downing, 7 seconds back to Murphy. Meanwhile, Kieran Brown continues to push on now as we go past the workshop, the building site here, and we go up towards the top. That is when it levels off. You can just see on the map the dark silhouette and the marker for the King of the Mountains at the moment. He's got 50 seconds on Thorpe, the nearest rider to Kieran, as it looks like whoever's holding that sprint jersey has just climbed off. So looks like Kieran inheriting that sprint jersey with a 19.62. So 49 seconds from Thorpe on your screens at the moment to this man, Kieran Brown from Sherwood Pines. And you can just see it is pretty tough stuff. Looks like Murphy's just in danger of dropping Russ there and just pushing on. So Russ waits for Murphy. Murphy not so... just a little bit eager then going past Russ. They've now opened the gap up to Evans, but look at this. Evans has been caught here by Neil Mansfield. Well, Neil was doing some base level training out wrecking for the 3 peaks on Whernside, and I think that has certainly done him some good. Unfortunately though, 3 peaks cancelled for 2021 as well. Bad news, that not going to go ahead, but the leading time to make sure that events are able to run are not... it's not all that short, and of course with news coming through that there is the potential to see more lockdowns that come in and more waves of virus coming through. Don't forget, of course, we will be here with the Donny Chaingang all the way through. No matter what happens, we are going to be here, and this man is one man who's going to be looking forward to that, because here he comes. He's coming up to the top of the climb. Kieran Brown on a phenomenal ride today. He's coming into that gantry, and it's going to be Kieran Brown who's going to take this. The man from Sherwood Pines comes over the top. Victory for Kieran Brown. First rider across the line on the Donny Chaingang. He eases off those pedals quickly onto that downhill. And the gap 1 minute 15 for Brown from Thorpe. Absolutely flying. Thorpe now clear of Atkinson by some 30 seconds. So Thorpe now trying to make this his as Brown is off on the descent here. He's just coasting down, letting those legs spin out. Great ride by Kieran, taking victory today, and first man for a long time taking a hilltop victory, a mountaintop victory away from Paul Whitelaw. So it's Thorpe next, heading up the climb, then Atkinson, and Atkinson still has a gap on Murphy and Downing, 16 seconds. You see the beacon behind. I don't think he's going to be able to see enough of Thorpe for it to make a difference. Thorpe into those last 200 metres here. So as Thorpe comes in towards that line, his heart rate 190 beats per minute, really has worked hard up here. 400, 500 watts as he kicks into the line here. Going through the finish, second place today for Thorpe. Brown in 1, Thorpe in 2 here. Great riding by these riders. Next up, it's going to be Atkinson hitting that 300 metre line. He's got the gap on the duo behind Murphy and Downing. And I think Murphy's got a little bit of a gap on Downing, so it's going to be Atkinson who's going to come across. He's going to take that 3rd place spot. The 2 riders are coming behind, and looks like Downing went hard there, just backed off the pedals a little bit. He's got did have a gap on them, so Atkinson goes through for 3, and Murphy and Downing together, and Russ kicked on the pedals. Murphy's responded to it. Great riding by Murphy here. So Murphy's going to come in through. He's going to hit that line. Right on landing on him here. He's going to come through in 4th place. So 1 is Brown, 2 Thorpe, 3 Atkinson, 4 is Murphy, 5 is Downing. Russ at 152 beats per minute here, just cruises his way over the line. Absolutely a shot, and you can see the effect there. So Brown, Thorpe, Atkinson, Murphy and Downing, the riders in the top of 5. Great riding now behind. This is going to be interesting. We've got Neil and Evans together here. So it's Evans with group. So Dean Evans and Neil Mansfield coming up towards the line. Neil's on the front. He's just starting to open a gap here. Is he going to put the pressure on at the right time? You remember that gantry is going to be in sight. 200 metres to go. And I think Dean Evans here is going to be distanced by Neil from the crosscast to come up to the top of the climb here. So it's going to be Neil who's going to take this as he goes up over the top of the climb. So it's going to be 6th place for Neil Mansfield. He comes into the line, crosscast. Neil comes across the line in 6th place here. Then it's going to be Evans coming through in 7th spot. Great riding by those two riders all the way up the climb inside that top 10. Next up, we're looking for our next rider. It is going to be Taylor. Great riding by Taylor again. See some really good performances today. So Rob Taylor doing the business here. 19 seconds clear of Ferret, 35 from Fisher, and Taylor doing the business today. Keeps the power on all the way in and underneath the gantry there. Great riding on his way through, and you see quickly backing off the power. Now this is going to be the kick between Varty and Fisher here, and it's Varty who's gone early here. Can he hold off Fisher? Fisher's trying to respond to this, but I don't think he's got enough left in the legs behind. Ferret is on his way through the line. Great riding by Ferret to come in and through. Behind though, it's Varty and Fisher. It's going to be tight, but Varty's going to get it. Or is he? Fisher's kicking for the line. Oh, I think that was just Varty. We're going to get that when we look back on the video a little bit later. Let's see how they're going. I think there's some very dead legs on the way up. Next up is going to be Rourke. So Dominic Rourke coming through. Great riding by Dominic as he comes underneath the gantries. And it's going to be Chris Darby. And Darby has Keith Richardson at a respectable distance behind, some 40 odd metres behind at the moment as he comes in towards the line. So Darby's going to be our next finisher here today. Just outside the top 10, but still a really good performance here. And going to have kicked in through for 12th place there. Great riding. Then it's going to be Richardson. Richardson, one of our regular riders, and great to see him in action again. And Richardson in for 13th place. It's going to be Koosluks. Great ride by Koosluks. Nice hat, mate, as always. Running the disc wheels all the way to the top, so held on through the flatlands and used it to great effect. 14th place for him. Goddard then on his way up the climb still, so Goddard going to be a top 15 today for Chris Goddard. So Chris Goddard pushing in to the gantry here into 200 metres to go now. Behind Shelley Charles at 9 seconds, Gately at 21, who's got lots of company around, so going to be really interesting. It's going to be a three-way battle. Ted, Gately and West. No problems though for Goddard as he comes in to the finish here, and he's going to come through the line. Going to be 15th place, I think, as he hits the line. So good riding by Chris Goddard's being chased to the line by Shelley Charles. You see Shelley back in action. And Shelley Charles hitting the line there just behind now. This is the sprint between Ted and Gately. We're on Gately at the moment. He's the multicoloured rider. I wouldn't want to put money on who that was. They hit the gantry. I think Gately was just in front of Ted, but it's ever so close. That's going to be a watch back. Immediately behind them was West. West coming in through the line. Then it's going to be Osman, another rider who's improved time and time again. Russell Osman now clearly enjoying his fifth decade on the planet. As Marty's going to be our next rider on that Zwift bike at the moment, goes through just ahead of Pillsworth. So it's going to be Pillsworth. Then it's going to be Davis. Davis can see that gantry in front. If we take a little bit of a look back, you can just see Rich Orrell in the distance. And it's going to be Dick Samuel, followed by Barry Kipling, Brown, Hilbert and Donahue, the riders on that climb behind. But Davis, now Joel Davis is going to come through. And great riding by Davis. Nice setup, deep rims and an aero frame there being chased to the line. Rich Orrell, another of our regular riders here, kicking up to the top of that King of the Mountains point. Dick Samuel, the rider behind, got Kipling not all that far behind. He can't relax. Barry Kipling's got a big kick on him when he needs him. So great to see these riders kicking up over the top there. So Martin, Pillsworth, Davis all in here. So next up is going to be Dick Samuel. 3.1 is kept Kipling at distance as he hits the line. Underneath the gantry goes, then it's going to be Kipling. Kipling is going to be in trouble here. He is, and it is Brown who came past him. Great riding by Brown to come past Kipling. Then it's going to be Hilbert. Steve Hilbert just ahead of Vin Donoghue. So good riding by Steve Hilbert. Hilbert in front of Donoghue. Then it's going to be Evans. So Evans, our next rider, coming in to the gantry at the moment, ahead of Sutcliffe, Whitelaw and Scales at the moment. So those are the riders behind. Kinloch's not all the far off the pace. So Evans comes through, good riding by Evans. So let's have a look. It is going to be Whitelaw who's kicking on the pedals. So Whitelaw's going to come into the finish, not the front today. Long down his feet, but great riding by Whitelaw behind then. We're going to keep our eyes on these riders, and the rider we're going to look out for, we've got Sutcliffe and Kinloch coming in. Is going to be the first female to the top. Abby Scales putting in a serious ride today, because it's going to be the first female rider up for Scales. Let's see at what time she comes in through the line here. So Scales comes through. Whoa, that's a good time, 25.35. Nice riding by Abby Scales to come through the line as our first female rider. And a really good performance. So Abby improving time and time again. Dr. D making it all the way to the end of the ride today. 2 days in a row for Dr. D, doing a good ride here, just ahead of Malin, one of the riders who was distanced a little bit earlier on. And Malin now working well to keep that distance down. So Paul Whitelaw just giving his congratulations to Kieran Brown, who was flying up that climb. So Malin, our next rider in to the line, riding strongly. Then it's going to be Morn of the Stellaton, and Morn more suited to our sprints than our climbs, as you can tell by those forearms. However, putting in a great ride here again today, so he's going to be our next rider in. So good riding by Morn ahead of Garfoot, Dickinson and Hobbs. Let's see if we can get in touch with Russ, because Russ is likely to be the slightly recovered, hopefully, on his way through. Russ, how you doing?
Good.
Good, honest gov.
Just about to unclip, that's how good I am.
Well, it's not like you. Have you? Did you ride on to make a distance, or did you just think, no, get me off the bike quick?
I'm just about to roll up to a 45k. I can't get off before then. hour and 15, 45k plus the warm up. So yeah, we're all good, mate.
That's good, and we've seen some fantastic rides tonight. Good to see Abby Scales, whose ride has really improved. First female over the line in front of Harley Hobbs, is going to come across to second place. And some quick times up there, 25.35 for Scales. I think it's going to be a PB. And Harley Hobbs, Harley, of course, one of our regular riders coming in. And Harley coming through at 26.20. Again, another fast ride there by Harley. And these riders keep on improving time and time again, don't they?
Yeah, I think it was really controlled around the Innsbruck ring there. So people had, I wouldn't say fresh legs, but, they've not spent any stupid power closing gaps and going with the bridges. So, it went early, but it allowed people to find the groups and find the pacing. But, no one went into the red early and absolutely blew. So, yeah, it was a great pace. I think most people, I had, I can't remember who it was now, my mind's gone. It was going to quit at 3k to go and go backwards. But
Murphy
dragged him out, and he rolled me on the line. So, yeah, cheers for that.
Yeah, I think that was Paul Murphy who got that.
Paul Murphy, it was, yeah.
Yeah, doing some damage towards the ends there. It's not that I'd ever do such a thing to you on the line, honest gov, but we've got to take it. When we get a chance to scalp a legend, it has to happen every now and then. And some riders putting in serious performances all the way around the course. Caroline Mansfield from Gritty on the way up the climb in. It's so good to see Caroline back time and time again on the Donny Chaingang.
Yeah, it's great. They keep coming back. I think certain people like certain courses, so they realise they can. If it's going to be up and down all day, then they're probably going to get dropped. But if they know it's a hilltop finish, they can roll with the front and then find a group and have a really good workout. So That's why we mix it up each week. We don't just have it on the same course and the same style of workout. So yeah, it's all good. But yeah, I spoke about it earlier. Looking forward to next week. I might need a recovery weekend to get ready for that, but we'll see.
Well, indeed, plenty of carbo fueling. Might have to have maybe a bit of spaghetti bolognese or something before you actually ride.
Might just have a beer or something. Have some Moretti or something.
Quite possibly so. Might be in need. So just see Lemmy come through and Taylor on the hillside, and our Beacon group aren't all that far behind. It's no, we have been known to wait quite some while for the last riders to come through, but I can see some really close gaps here. Nothing too drastic. Really does show just how quick it was tonight. Russ, I think you need to go grab a beer, get some, get an ice bath, or maybe just throw some ice cubes on your legs, because they've got to be hurting now.
Yeah, you've rolled me over the 45 and 46 now, so I may as well roll up to a minute 20, an hour 20 now. So yeah, cheers, Dan. It's a 5 minute time.
You'll thank me later on, it's Gov. Well, good to chat, Russ. Have a great day tomorrow, and we'll see you on Thursday for a nice flat one around Watopia Flat, which isn't actually flat.
I nearly said enjoy your weekend then, because we've had two rides, and I thought it's 2 rides a week. Yeah, we can relax now, but I'll relax tomorrow and then back again Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. My turn to ride tomorrow. We'll see you later on. Cheers, Russ.
Cheers, mate.
So great to hear from Russ, and great riding, man. We've got 2 days in a row. It definitely takes its toll on everybody, and thanks to everybody who has done that second day today by going in on Monday. And don't forget, of course, on Thursday we're going to head across to Watopia Flat as Mick Taylor now from Bolsover District making his way in underneath the gantry at the top of the climb. He's ahead of the man with the fictitious heart rate that is currently at 225. Yes, we have a result. We have potentially the highest heart rate I've seen for a long time on Zwift, and Mr. Howis taking the record for the world's highest heart rate. I suspect it's double reading there, and he's actually somewhat below that at near 112. So Holly Hobbs, Abby Scales and Caroline Mansfield in and across, and those times not all that separated. Great to see Caroline putting in a great ride there, and I know she's going to be disappointed with the 3 peaks being cancelled, but I know there's going to be plenty more riding for Caroline as Howis now pushes on towards the line once again here. Another big sprint, 8 watts per kilo. Still got a little bit left in his legs as he kicks in, and just getting that little bit of a spin in to the top of the climb. So Howis comes through. Pete House doing a great ride here on the climb time to spin down the hills. We're going to take a little bit of a drop back now to Raccoon. So Rocket Raccoon, that is Andrew Watson. Martin Bolt on his heels here. Martin following the red beacon rather than being the red beacon these days. It's a rarity because Martin rarely sees the beacon. He's usually right at the front. It shows you just how quick it has been today. And Martin, as you can see on this 10% steep section here, chasing our beacon. Behind it's going to be Hayward, whose legs went pop a little bit earlier on, went and caught the bus for a while. And looks like Hayward keeping those revs nice and high, 75 revs per minute, 149 beats per minute on his way in towards line. So Raccoon, Bolt and Hayward are our 3 riders on the course, and steadily making their way up this climb here in Innsbruck. So as they make their way up the slopes, gives me a little bit of a chance to say a big thank you to all of our riders, keeping us entertained, and of course making my job easy, because I always love putting words to the action when the action is fast and furious. Kieran Brown taking what was a fantastic victory today on the Donny Chaingang. Once that go goes, he went well and truly. Nobody was touching him. Big attacks, big chases. Atkinson and Thorpe really chasing it hard. Russ working hard with Murphy to close those gaps down, unable to do so. And Whitelaw today not on form, coming in at just outside the top 15. Neil from the cross Casper, a great ride, moving himself right the way up there. I think 6th place for Neil today. So some great performances. Abby Scale showing she's coming on to some great form. in front of Harley Hobbs, being chased all the way by Caroline Mansfield there. So 3 great rides in for the top 3 in the women's positions as we came into the finish of the road. But remember, it's not just about the front, it's about the back. And we saw some brilliant work being done to go back, look after riders, drag them back up to the front, go back, drag them up to the front. And our red beacon, as you can see on the screens at the moment, doing an amazing job of that, and he worked really, really hard. And I've got to say a massive thank you to Andrew Watson, who acquitted himself with honours today as our red beacon, and with the most experienced red beacon of the lot, and that is Martin Bolt. These two working really well together now that they're on the climb, and that chevron over the head of Rocket Raccoon, Andrew Watson. Now, don't forget, all of our red beacons are volunteers. If you want to volunteer, then you can get yourselves the dubious honour of doing so as you are volunteering. Basically, just go on the Facebook page, send Gail first a message to put you on there. The rosters at the moment, I think, are full until the end of June, may well be July now. And when the next raft goes out, get your name in quick, because there is a big demand to do it. It's a really rewarding part of riding on Swifties, helping other people in the group and helping them move up. And that's whether you're on the Donny Chaingang or another ride. And we do aim with the Chaingang. There's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes from Russ and myself to make sure that our riders get a good workout, that we're giving lots of different skills to our riders, get lots of practice in for things that help when you're on Swift and in real life as well. And one of those, of course, is sprinting into the finish now. Let's see if we're going to get a sprint out of our riders, because, of course, coming into the finish, it is going to be Martin Bolt and Rocket Raccoon. So Bolt in that Z Peugeot jersey at the moment, right on the heels there. If we drop up, you can just see Martin laying off the back here of Raccoon on the front, and Rocket Raccoon has towed Bolt as up this climb. A lot of the work being done when we've dropped back has been by Rocket, but being the red beacon, I'm sure he's going to think about whether he goes for this or not, because he did a lot of work early on at chasing riders and trying to get them up onto the group. Bolt on the front of this duo, just stretching his legs out here. It's going to be Martin Bolt who's going to take this. Look at the gap opening up here. It's going to be Martin Bolt who's going to take this. Here comes Bolt. So it's Bolt who takes it of the two riders. Then it is going to be Rocket Raccoon. I'm going to say a big thank you. Thank you very much, Andrew. Mr. Watson doing the business today, really going back, working and helping those riders out on the way up the climb, and great to see him in action, taking a little bit of a breather and resting those legs as he makes his way down on to the descent. So let's drop back and see where Keith Hayward is. Hayward, our next rider out on course and up on to the climb at the moment. So just coming past that works yard and past the site building site, heading up towards the summit. So as Hayward makes his way up there, don't forget, of course, that we've got a fantastic giveaway coming up next week on the Donny Chaingang. You've got to be part of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. It's how we keep the show on the road. So basically, you donate every month, and for every month that you donate, we say a massive thank you to you by giving discounts away. So discounts on OTE, on Halo wheels, on Velo Skin, on Oakleys from 1080, from Grand Tour Coffee, and of course Gritty Sustainable Sports Clothing as well. Big giveaways and discounts, and we've got another giveaway coming up from a new supporter who've ridden the Chaingang for a while. And they've been on the Chaingang. They've been a favourite of Russ and mine for a long time. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted exactly who it is up on the screen. Just in that slide box up there, you'll have seen it flick through. Have you worked out who it is? Well, we are really looking forward to the giveaway, and we're going to be doing a giveaway for a main prize and a secondary prize on Tuesday and on Thursday next week, and it's celebrating the end of the Giro, the third week of the Giro, which has been really, really entertaining to watch. Regular on the Donny Chaingang, Brian Smith has been doing the analysis, the breakaway and the commentary, and Brian, of course, a great friend of the cross and we've got to say of the Donny Chaingang, I've got to say a massive thank you to him for all of his support. And let's hope he's in with a chance, because of course he's a member of the supporters club as well. So make sure you get joined up if you're not a member already of the Donny Chaingang supporters club, the DCG gang, to be in with a chance of those prizes, and of course to be able to cash in on all of those discounts, which quite easily exceed the donation that you're going to put in to become a member. You don't need very many of the Cold Bath Brewing Company's beers, very much OTE, Halo wheels, etc., and you soon get the value back very, very quickly. Now, one man who we know has been a member of the DCG gang, it is Keith Hayward, and let's jump in with Keith as he comes in towards the line. So here comes Keith on his way up, looking cool as a cucumber as he comes in towards the line. You can just see the Alps in the distance. But this man doing the business here today in Innsbruck on the KOM as he comes underneath the gantry. The Donny Chaingang now with our riders on to the descent, heading down in towards that warm down banner, the blue banner, which just leaves me to say thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure putting words to the action as always. Don't forget, of course, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on Strava, and of course on Zwift as well. It's Matt Fixerpain. Don't forget, of course, you can follow Russ Downing on all of those platforms as well, and Instagram. Give the Donny Chaingang a follow, and of course make sure you click onto the sites of our fantastic sponsors down there. People like Bike Ninja. These t-shirts are the business, even if they are modelled by me. So make sure you get online, support the people who support your sport. We will see you again on Thursday on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne, for the next of the Donny Chaingang.